When the alarm sounded, the atmosphere at the airbase shifted instantly into high alert. Pilots and A-10 Thunderbolt II crew members rushed to their designated shelters, quickly suiting up in full combat gear while carrying readiness checklists. There was no room for error, every second counted. Ground technicians immediately began comprehensive inspections, ensuring that the avionics, weapon systems, and the powerful GAU-8 Avenger cannon were all fully operational. Fuel tanks were double-checked, and munitions such as rockets and precision-guided bombs were secured beneath the aircraft's wings. Meanwhile, the A-10 pilots climbed swiftly into their cockpits and initiated a series of system checks, from instruments and communications to navigation controls. The coordination between ground crew and pilot was intense but highly disciplined. Mission Command transmitted intelligence data and flight routes directly to the aircraft's digital systems. The roar of the turbofan engines filled the runway, signaling that the Thunderbolt II was ready for action. With all systems confirmed operational and mission data fully uploaded into the aircraft's onboard computer, the A-10 pilot proceeded to release the parking brakes and slowly guided the jet forward, taxiing with precision toward the main runway. The ground crew, still positioned along the edges of the tarmac, offered final visual checks and hand signals, ensuring there were no anomalies or last-minute issues as the aircraft moved. The A-10's rugged, battle-worn airframe rumbled steadily over the concrete, its twin turbofan engines producing a low, throaty growl that echoed across the base. The pilot, seated in the armored cockpit, maintained constant communication with the control tower, acknowledging clearance instructions while skillfully adjusting throttle input and steering controls to stay perfectly aligned on the narrow taxi route. Inside the cockpit, the heads-up display, HUD, showed key flight data and mission parameters, while the pilot made slight corrections, constantly vigilant of every detail. As the aircraft reached the edge of the runway, the pilot took a deep breath, reviewed the takeoff checklist one last time, and prepared to apply full thrust ready to launch the A-10 into the sky and head directly toward a mission that would test every ounce of skill, precision, and combat readiness. One by one, the A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft began moving into position at the end of the runway, each lined up with disciplined precision as final takeoff clearances were transmitted from the air traffic control tower. The atmosphere was tense but focused, with every pilot acutely aware of the critical nature of the mission ahead. Engines idled at high power, their distinctive roar echoing across the airbase as the first aircraft was given the green light to launch. With a decisive motion, the pilot advanced the throttles to maximum, unleashing the full thrust of the twin General Electric turbofan engines. The aircraft lunged forward with raw force, its heavy frame gripping the runway as speed rapidly built. Within seconds, the jet's nose lifted, landing gear retracted, and the A-10 climbed steeply into the open sky. No sooner had the first Warthog cleared the airfield than the next aircraft was already rolling down the tarmac, engines howling and wings trembling with energy. The sequence continued like clockwork, each jet taking off with full combat load, climbing aggressively and banking into formation. From the ground, the sight of multiple A-10s launching one after another with unwavering precision sent a powerful message of strength, coordination, and relentless readiness for whatever awaited them in the operational theater. As the last aircraft departed the runway and ascended to join the formation overhead, the group of A-10s quickly established a tactical spread, spacing themselves with deliberate intervals to optimize visibility, maneuverability, and mutual coverage. Pilots communicated steadily over encrypted radio channels, confirming altitudes, headings, and mission parameters, while adjusting their positions based on the real-time operational plan uploaded into their navigation systems. Below them, the terrain began to shift from the structured airbase grid to wide-open landscapes, mountains, valleys, and desert zones that could become the battleground at a moment's notice. Each pilot now focused entirely on their combat role, scanning instruments, checking targeting systems, and preparing mentally for potential contact with hostile elements. Armed with a full payload of precision-guided bombs, air-to-ground rockets, and the devastating GAU-8 Avenger cannon, each aircraft represented a mobile fortress of firepower. These Warthogs were not merely flying, they were on a mission, fully committed to supporting ground forces, engaging threats, and returning home only when the job was done. The sky, now filled with the silhouettes of America's most iconic close air support aircraft, reflected the weight of purpose they carried as they roared into the distance, ready for whatever lay beyond the horizon. After all, A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft had successfully taken off and gained stable altitude. The pilots began maneuvering into coordinated combat formation in the sky. Through secure tactical radio channels, flight leads issued precise instructions regarding altitude levels, airspeed adjustments, and inter-aircraft spacing to ensure a safe and mission-effective formation. Each Warthog shifted into position with practiced precision, their broad wings and rugged frames casting shadows against the morning light. Though the A-10 is known for its ability to operate independently in close air support roles, its capability to fly in tight, tactical formations adds a critical layer of coordination and mutual coverage when heading into hostile airspace. From the ground, the sight of multiple A-10s flying in formation was both inspiring and ominous, a visual declaration of American air power mobilizing for action. The sky, once calm and quiet, now thundered with the collective roar of turbofan engines, signaling to friend and foe alike that the guardians of the battlefield were airborne and mission-bound. With the formation locked into place, the flight group began its journey toward the designated mission zone, flying over sprawling landscapes of rugged hills, vast deserts, and open plains that could soon become the site of intense combat operations. Inside the cockpits, each pilot maintained high alertness, scanning the terrain below and monitoring their multifunction displays, which projected real-time updates from Mission Command. The data included potential enemy positions, updated target coordinates, weather patterns, and the movement of Allied ground forces requiring support. Despite the distance to the target area, the sense of urgency was palpable. Pilots double-checked the status of their weapon systems, configured their targeting pods, and rehearsed the attack approach mentally as they pressed forward. For many of these seasoned aviators, the terrain they were flying toward was all too familiar a place marked by previous missions, past engagements, and the enduring commitment to protect troops on the ground. With full combat loads strapped beneath their wings and a determined gaze fixed ahead, the A-10 pilots were no longer just flying, they were executing a vital duty. They were the airborne sentinels of the battlefield. Flying with precision, unity, and an unwavering resolve to deliver firepower exactly where it was needed most.